Okay, Johnny is husband material. I just got to a crazy part and I literally couldn't put it down. I just love them together so much. Oh, I knew it. I've decided to give Keeping 13 a rating of As a person who gets most of her book recommendations online, I have heard nothing but good things about Binding and Keeping 13 by Chloe Walsh. Now, I've actually started this book once before, although I didn't get more than like 5 pages into it, unfortunately, because I was really annoyed by the writing style. Now, I know that these books were written, or at least the first one was published in 2018, so it's a little bit older of a book, and sometimes older books have older stereotypes that now we get tired of. Like, for example, the getting ready for the day scene, it's like first day of school, which basically is how this book starts out, and let's just say that it was very annoying. But I figured since everyone was talking good things about it, I might as well give it a second chance. So in today's vlog, I'm going to be reading the first 2 books in the Boys of Tomlin series and giving you my thoughts and feelings about it. And yeah, so I started this book earlier this morning because I was on a plane ride and of course I need something to do. So I downloaded this book and started reading it and I got about 10% in. Now I will say the writing style is still pissing me off just a little bit. It's very much tell and not show. Like they go on long monologues explaining their entire backstory or their entire outfit or their entire friendship with this person. It is a longer book, it's like 800 pages, so I'm sure a lot of this description could be cut down a little bit. Another thing is that they live in Ireland, I believe, and personally I've watched a lot of like British and Irish TV shows, so a lot of the words that they use I do recognize, but it's funny that this book actually has a glossary at the beginning because it has to explain some of the words that maybe American or other readers around the world may not understand. And for me too, I have to like read some of them to understand what they're talking about. But there are a couple good things about the book that I am slowly realizing. Shannon and Johnny. Johnny I think is better than Shannon. Shannon's kind of, she's described as like small and so skinny and underdeveloped and so weak and tired and bullied, and I'm just like, I get that she has a hard past, but I hate when girls are described like that. Like, I need to have a backbone in my characters, you know, guy or girl. So I hope she grows one in this book series, but I do like Johnny so far. He seems very protective. I don't know, I'm intrigued by it. The story, like plot line seems okay, but the writing is still pissing me off. So I'm intrigued to see what everyone else loves in it. So I'll update you guys soon when I read some more of it. Hi, okay, so it's the next day and I definitely have had some thoughts. So let's talk about them because I'm having some issues, but I'm also kind of enjoying it. So number one, there are a lot of inconsistencies in this book that I'm not loving. The main character, Shannon, has 2 best friends from like preschool because she was bullied a lot in school. And so these 2 friends stuck with her through the whole thing. And they are Claire and Lizzie. And like in secondary school, they split and went to 2 different schools. And so Lizzie and Claire were at the private school and she was at a public school. And I think in her 3rd year there, she goes back and joins them at the private school. So they're back and reunited. And in my opinion, if you're friends with someone since like preschool, it's surprising that you would fall apart so easily after being with best friends for so long, even if you're just separated for a couple years. Maybe that's just me, but also like there's a scene where Claire is talking to another character and apparently this has been like a friend of hers, but Lizzie is like, oh, she actually does have a crush on him. Like definitely, like they've kind of been like bantering for years, but they definitely have some like chemistry. And I'm just like, if you've been her best friend for years and years, since preschool, like I said, wouldn't you know that your best friend Claire has a thing for another guy? Like, it was really surprising to me that she didn't know about this when she's been friends for so long. Another thing, they talk a lot in this book about Johnny's penis, and specifically because apparently he broke it, which is giving very much Schmidt from New Girl, if you know what I'm talking about.
What happened?
This is embarrassing. I broke my penis.
You what?
In all the different videos I've seen about this series, no one told me that they talked so much about this man's balls. So much. in this book. Like, I'm only like 20% of the way through, and like they spent chapters talking about it because apparently he got like an injury and so he had to like have surgery on it and stuff. Like, I'm sure it's an insecurity for him, which I can understand, but like, of all the injuries you had to make your main character have, could you pick something else? Like break a foot, break an arm, break anything else. That's a weird choice to make. Is that just me? Like, I've read a lot of stuff, okay? I've read a lot of stuff, but like, that's weird to spend so much time talking about this man's penis. It's weird, okay? With that being said, however, I am ironically enjoying the book. There are definitely some qualms, like I said, that I'm having with it. I don't think the writing is very good. I think sometimes it rambles too long, but all those things being acknowledged, I also think that it's very addicting, which I think maybe is part of the hype of this series that everyone talks about. So it's good, I'm enjoying it, but there are definitely problems with it that I do recognize while I'm reading. But I am interested to find out like the character's story, you know, even if it's like not told in the most amazing way ever. So it's an interesting book. Anyway. Hi, hello, how are you? So I am at the 60% of the way mark through this book. I was going to stop at 50, but you guys just saw me reading and you know that I just got to a crazy part and I literally couldn't put it down. So I'm obsessed. I still have a lot of same problems that I did before. The writing is still very cringe and sometimes just like overdoing things that just are so stupid to me. Like, for example, Shannon as a character, I wish she had a little bit of a stronger backbone. I know she has like a really hard past, but she can just be such a damsel sometimes for really stupid things. At one point, there was a dog in his bed and she didn't know that it was a dog, so she thought it was a ghost. And so he walks in and she jumps into his arms like a monkey and she's like scared of this ghost. I'm like, babe, it's a dog. Use your brain. Like, it's not a ghost in his room, you know, don't be an idiot. And then another thing too is they still over exaggerate so many things that are just aren't realistic. Like at one point they're at a bar, she goes to sit in his car when he goes to talk to some people in the bar and have a little conversation before he walks back out. He comes back out and he's like, sorry for leaving you in here for 30 minutes. And I'm like, I just read your entire interaction with them and that would have taken you like literally 5 to 7 minutes max. Like, it's not a 30-minute interaction. So they over exaggerate things a lot and that pisses me off. So the writing is still pretty trash. However, the story itself, although it's kind of chaotic, it's really good, really fast paced, really interesting, and it's actually really sad, a lot of it. Shannon comes from a very broken household and there was a lot of problems with her family, and so I would definitely check the trigger warnings for this book because there's a lot of issues, and I'm not even finished with it, but there's a lot of issues that they talk about, especially with domestic abuse, domestic violence. There's mentions of sexual assault, stuff like that. So I would definitely check your trigger warnings before you read this. There was a scene that I just read that you saw my reaction to that I was like shocked at the end of, because someone who I really liked as a character, I don't know if they betrayed Shannon. I haven't gotten farther than like that last page, but I'm like shocked at the decision that they made. I understand it, but I'm shocked, you know? And then also there was a section here that talked about miscarriage, which is another trigger warning in case you're wondering, but they were talking about it in a way that made me really respect the character and the author. Like, it's weird because sometimes the author is writing such stupid stuff and I'm like, this is an idiotic thing, but also they're handling these really dark topics really well, in my opinion, and they are telling the story from the perspective of a teenager who's going through it accurately, in my opinion. I don't know the age of the writer, but I think although some of the funny stuff is like stupid, I think they're handling the darker and more intense topics well. Johnny as a character, I like him a lot more than Shannon, just because like I said, Shannon can be a little wimpy sometimes and Johnny is just, he has his issues for sure. Like, he has a health problem like I mentioned before, although it still pisses me off that they chose that particular problem to be the issue. But although he does have like flaws in his character and sometimes he gets a little moody and over emotional, I think that's accurate for a teenage boy. I like him a lot. He's very protective, he's very endearing and loving, and one thing I especially like is the way that he treats women. He is very respectful towards women and treats them well. He doesn't sleep around, he's very loyal to people, compliments his friends, girlfriends, you know, he's just a nice guy. And like, I understand that when I'm saying this, it's like, oh, that's the bare minimum love, and I get that, okay, but with the relationship the two of them have, like I said, damsel hero, it could be emphasized, like I find it is emphasized in a lot of books, big broody dude and all he cares about is his girl and all that stuff, but he's really not like that. So I can appreciate that he has a really kind heart, you know, that's why I like him a lot. I'm really enjoying this. I'm nervous about how it's going to end, but I will be moving on to book 2 ASAP because realizing that I'm 60% of the way through this, I'm like, I need more of it. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, we need to talk because updates have been updated. So yesterday when I updated you, I was like at the 50-60% mark. And then once I stopped recording, I honestly couldn't put the book down for like the rest of the day. And then last night I was in bed and I read the last little bit and finished the book and I was like shocked at how it ended. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't love the ending. I felt it ended a little abruptly, but you'd best believe I immediately downloaded the next book on my Kindle. And I'm now 25% of the way through book 2, which is Keeping 13, and it's only like 11 o'clock the next morning. So let's just say that this has completely and utterly sucked me in and is taken over my days right now because I'm obsessed with this series. As far as book 1 and its ending, I wanted to say that I actually really appreciate the romance in this book. And I know I dog on Shannon because she is a little bit of a baby girl, a damsel, a wimp sometimes. She's just a little dumb. But the romance I do really like because I feel like there is a lot of reason for them to get together, and not just because he's trying to protect her from something. Through like the writing on the page, you can really see how they connect emotionally emotionally more than physically. I'm reading a book series as well right now that I'm kind of in the middle of, which is the Magnolia Park series. And in that series, although I really do like that series, I think it's very fun, but I think it spends a lot of time with the main characters talking about how they used to have chemistry and connection, and in present tense, no matter what character it is, they spend a lot more on physical attraction and drama and just assume that the readers believe that they have chemistry and connection when we don't see it. It's just assumed that they grew it over time or in the past. Whereas this book, I think, is much better in showing emotional development because it is a slow burn, okay? Really slow burn. Like, it took until the end of the book for them to even like kiss. Like, it's a slow burn. But I appreciated that because it focused more on the emotional connection rather than the physical. I think they do mesh well. It's like an opposites attract situation. As far as my final rating, I gave the first book 4 stars, which is good. I really enjoyed it. It's not 5-star for me because of the writing, because Shannon is a little annoying. A couple things with the editing, I realized that there are actual like grammar mistakes in the book. I don't know how the book was edited, but that is something that I've noticed. Only a couple though. And again, the exaggeration thing pisses me off, but it was overall like really good, really enjoyable. What I do love is going into book 2, it like literally picks up the minute that book 1 ended. So thank the Lord that both of these books are already published because I would not want to wait after reading book 1 to get into book 2. It's definitely a different vibe than the first one. This one is involving more serious issues, but I do appreciate the conversations that's being had. I think, like I said earlier, it handles dark topics very well. We'll see how this book goes. I'm flying through it, honestly. Like I said, 25% of the way through already, and I started like 1 a.m. last night. So yeah, that's my update. I'm honestly surprised that I'm going through this so fast, but I'm happy about it. And I'm glad that I stuck with it because I did DNF this when I first read it a couple like months ago because I couldn't get behind the writing. But now I'm kind of overlooking that because the story is like really good. Okay, this is gonna be a short update, I swear, but I got to the 50% mark in this book, and oh my god. It's really good. So it's similar to the first book. There's nothing much change except for in this book, her and Johnny are basically together now, and they're texting, and he's so sweet to her. I need a Johnny in real life. Who are you kidding? Get me a Johnny. Also, for a moment, can we talk about Gibbsy? I love Gibbsy. Oh my god, he's so funny. He's so funny. He has no filter. He is very TMI. He asks Johnny so many personal questions, but his love for I just love them together so much. I know that their book is like the 5th and 6th book in this series, and I am waiting to get there because I just can't wait to see them. They're little friends to lovers. I'm really enjoying this. I really am. I'm definitely scared for Shannon and her domestic abuse situation. She's having a little reprieve, thank the Lord, but I just know that at the end of this book there's something bad's gonna happen, so I'm definitely nervous for that. I'm also nervous for Johnny and his whole rugby stuff, and I'm being broad here because I don't want to spoil anything, but let's just say that I'm flying through it. So I'm already at 50%. I started it like yesterday, I think. Yesterday morning. Anyway, I'm really excited to finish. Okay, I gotta show you. I got something super cool in the mail today. This is a big girl purchase that I've been saving all year to buy. And let me just show you. I got a professional camera. I'm like a professional YouTuber now. I'm so excited about this. In case you didn't know, I like have shot everything on my old YouTube channel and this channel so far on my iPhone, but now I can show my iPhone in a video because it's not the thing recording. I'm like ecstatic about this. The audio probably isn't great. I'm still figuring that out. The coloring may not be perfect. I'm just like messing around with this, but I am pumped nonetheless because my quality is about to be so good. I'm about to have some cool focus, some rack focusing, exposure, aperture things. In case you didn't know, I'm a film major in university, so like I'm very excited to like play around and like mess with the things that I've been learning about, but like do them for something real like YouTube. So I have about 20 minutes before I'm about to go to my friend's house, so I thought I would use my phone because I'm not vlogging on here. Record a little bit because I am gonna read for about 20 minutes. This is like not my room, by the way. This is like the guest bedroom of my house. I just prefer to film in here because like the coloring is better and the lighting is nicer in here. I'm currently 60% of the way through. I'm on chapter 53 and it's going really well. Oh my god, this is the cutest thing. Shannon has a lot of brothers. She has like 5 brothers, and not really a spoiler because this is like a random scene, but like Johnny's over at her house but she's not there, like taking care of her little brothers. That's like so adorable. Oh my god. Johnny is everything. Johnny is husband material, and so is Gibbsy. my goodness. Okay, let's do a little wrap up. So I actually filmed this clip yesterday, but the audio was not plugged in, so we're doing it a second time. So I finished Keeping 13 yesterday afternoon, so that is basically the end of this vlog, but I do want to talk about my final thoughts. You might be surprised to hear this, actually, but after some consideration, I've decided to give Keeping 13 a rating of 5 stars. Crazy! That's crazy! But yeah, it was really just that good. Listen, the book was very, very similar to the first book, okay? There was a lot of similarities. It picked up right where the first one left off, and the writing was similar, the story was similar. But I think what made the second book just stand out just that much more was, number one, the side characters were everything in this book. I love Gibbsy, I love Claire, I love Joey, I love Aoife, and I cannot wait for all of their books. So like getting their little like snippets throughout this book was really exciting for me to continue the series. Also, I think that there was one plot twist in this book that really shocked me. In general, I think the plot is pretty predictable, kind of, but I also read a lot of romance. Sometimes there's a little bit of like following the rules that authors of course have to do. However, there was one twist in here, and if you read my Goodreads notes, because I always post like the highlights and annotations that I make in the books. If I'm reading them on Kindle, I post them on Goodreads. If you go through them, if you want to get yourself spoiled, but there's like a one section that I was like guessing. I was like, is this what's gonna happen? And I was like, oh, that's what happened. Oh. And I think having the author like go that far, I was shocked. And I like being shocked with books because it means that the author's doing something different. I have to give the second book 5 stars. I think the first one is still sitting at a 4-star just because the writing style in both the books, it's very, very similar. Both of them could be shortened. They ramble on too long. Like I said, some things are over exaggerated, some things are just not my favorite in the writing style. But I think that there are more things in the second book that kind of won me over in comparison to the first book. Yeah, I really did love this series so far. And the real question today is, do I keep reading and start on Saving 6? I love Joey. I have a little special place for him in my heart, and I need to know how his story ends up because he is going through some rough times right now. I might just continue the series and pick up Saving 6 because I don't want to let go of these characters. I love Johnny and Shannon, but in honesty, I prefer the side characters to them. So if you want me to vlog the rest of the series, comment down below, let me know. I can continue vlogging. As always, make sure you subscribe to my channel because this is a new channel, my book channel, and I'm really excited to post videos on here. I'm currently posting about every 4 days, so look out for a new video in just a couple days. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. I'm sending you guys so much love. Have an amazing rest of your day, and I will see you in just a few. Goodbye!